with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, and of course, Game Source. Everyone out there, just thank you so much for listening to all of our great shows. And if you can, please give us that 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. Plus, if you can like, share, subscribe, follow, or do whatever it is that you can to support us right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Pop Culture Cosmos, Game Source, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, of course, the great folks right there for you at Lakerholics.com. Go ahead and check out what the number one Lakers blogger, Laker Tom, who is part of our Lakers live watch party right there for you on playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break, which you can join us all the time. Plus, also as well, Jamie Sweet with his 5 Things articles. Go ahead and check out what both those guys are doing today at Lakerholics.com. Plus, also as well, LakersBall.com. There's Ox1947 right there. He is at LakersBall.com. And also as well, if you want your lawn transformed into something so much more beautiful than it is today, and you're in the Southern California area, Simblades with the Y.com. Plus, also as well, our good friends at the Hoop Heads Podcast Network. And a big shout out to some friends that I made today at downtown Las Vegas at the Run It Back store. That's right. If you're in downtown Las Vegas, please go ahead and check out the Run It Back store. If you like your vintage clothing, if you like your vintage toys, action figures, video games, and vintage Lakers stuff that's there, go ahead and check out what they're doing today at Run It Back right there in the Container store right there. Right there. It's a nice little small place with a whole bunch of vintage great stuff that's there for you right there in downtown Las Vegas, right across from the El Cortez. It is the Run It Back store. Wanted to give those guys a big shout out for everything that they do as far as providing some great Lakers vintage stuff right there for it, Run It Back. And if you can support all of that, it is sincerely appreciated. Zangerstein's already started. Welcome back, Zangerstein. Always great to have you here, Z. Doesn't like Darvin's starting lineup and ending lineups. I don't know. Just again, the reliance is so much like Vogel. Just that's something obviously we could talk about. But let's get to the positives first off, and that's the Lakers' first half really strong, coming high off the momentum from the big Milwaukee win. Would there be a crash and fall in Washington? No. Right off the bat, they made their point. And maybe it was just because of the fact that 3 minutes in, Bradley Beal did get hurt and was taken back to the locker room, which kind of sucked the life out of the Washington Wizards. But you know what? That didn't stop Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, who is on a tear like no one else currently in the NBA, really guided the Lakers forward, especially the fact that they got off to a 68-50 halftime lead, kept it strong in that now famous third quarter, 37-31, kind of faltered in the fourth quarter with a big comeback from none other than Kyle Kuzma. But the Lakers held strong because they got Anthony Davis right there scoring and scoring and scoring. And he ended up with a fantastic game, one of the best of his career, 55 points, 17 rebounds, and 3 block shots. LeBron James with an, oh, by the way, 29 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists, 5 turnovers. So kind of made up for the 0 turnovers that he got in Milwaukee. Lonnie Walker, 7-10, 4-4 from behind the arc, and 20 points for him. And the Lakers pulled away from the Washington Wizards after they got a little bit close inside of 10, 130-119. But for all instances, this game was over in the third quarter. The Lakers, again, outstanding performance by AD. Just unfortunately for the injury for Bradley Beal, feel sorry about what's going on there, but he was questionable, so he could have come back into the game. So it doesn't sound like something is too serious, but that didn't stop AD from having a tremendous game. And here today to talk about it, first man up, first man here. Good man indeed. You got to go ahead and check him out when he's out of the traffic in Toronto. He's the Magic Man, the madman from Toronto. The Magic Man indeed, Sean Grice. Sean, great to have you here. Another fantastic game for Anthony Davis.
Absolutely, Gerald. I know a lot of Laker fans will likely quibble about Coach Ham's lineup there in the fourth, but this game was about Anthony Davis. I'd just like to say that I woke up this morning and I just had this funny feeling that he was just gonna go off today. So I let the Podfather and the rest of the gang know. I thought he was gonna go for 40. I didn't in my wildest dreams think he'd go for 55. But um, look, his career high is 59. He did that as a Pelican. This is his career high as a Laker.
Yes.
It's probably the easiest 55 points he's ever gonna score.
What did you score?
Um,
40 by within 3/4, correct?
he scored 41 through 3. He had 41 and 14 going into the fourth. So he had he dropped a 40 bomb before the fourth quarter even started. It was a dominant performance, 55 points on 30 shots. He shot 22 of 30 from the field, over 73%. Again, I think he might have started breaking a sweat there halfway through the fourth, but that was probably the first time all game that he did. He was scoring at ease wherever he wanted. Um, his last, I'll have to look it up, but I would say of his last 20 3-point attempts, I'm guessing he's shooting around at least 37%, possibly higher. It just looks better for whatever reason. And he's on a tear right now. It's like no matter what sport you're playing, it's just if you could get the ball in the hands of the guy who's just tearing it up, just get him the ball, no
Yeah.
matter what.
Well, I'll tell you what, just a great game indeed by Anthony Davis. Just it definitely could not ask for anything more from him. Just he's on a tear right now. Just fantastic, fantastic play. Also here today to talk about today's game. Good man indeed. You got to go ahead and check him out today at LakersBall.com. Plus, also as well, you got to go ahead and check out what he's doing today for your lawn if you're in the Southern California area at Simblades, Simblades with a Y.com. It is Joe Soro. Joe, again, you're the first on the train to stay on the train, and you're leading the train right now because AD is rolling right now.
Well, we know the game. We said this ad nauseum during the summer. For this team to be successful, AD has to be Sean, say it again.
Special.
This is special AD. This is not really even MVP candidate and AD. This is transcendent player. So Sean mentioned this is the easiest 55 he's going to get, which is not that far off from what we've been saying for about a week and a half now. He looks like he's not even trying. And when that is happening, that means you have a controlled AD, a lethal AD, and a less chance of AD getting injured AD. You have that, and you might as well just pack it in. And LeBron's dropping 30 as a second option. Westbrook's doing dimes like Mark Jackson in his prime. Lonnie Walker not missing threes. You know, again, at the end of the day, guys, this team is getting it together. And I'm not going to put a lot of blame on the lineup in the fourth quarter. I think we're still stuck in that old way of thinking the NBA used to be. I was watching it right around the 3-minute mark, or I should say 3 minutes left in the third quarter. I was itching at that. Is there a chance we can get both LeBron and AD to sit the whole fourth? And then this little thing in my head goes, Joe, you need to get that out of your damn head.
You knew that wasn't going to happen, Joe.
It may it's like a pitcher pitching a complete game. It will happen, right? It will happen in spurts. But the days of you, the star, having a 20-point lead, a 15-point lead, you took your team to that spot going into the fourth, you're not going to sit the whole fourth. Those days are gone.
What is the Joe Soro rule? Joe Soro rule? 20 points and in?
20 points. I mean, you saw 29 points evaporate in what, 8 minutes? It's over. It's over. So
they took that foot off the gas, and yeah, that was all she wrote.
Now if you use that as a positive thing for statistical purposes, if that doesn't happen, we don't see a double nickel by AD.
No. Yeah.
And also those who have been watching, because most of our crowd could be young and don't really remember the early 2000s and beyond. Some of our guests are young. So just to give you guys an idea of why you've seen more statistic, what used to be anomalies, which is triple doubles, let's say mid-tier to mid to high tier type players getting 30s and 40s all day, every week, more possessions, more threes, more skill being taught in terms of shooting. So that's what these guys are doing. All their energy is going towards shooting. So that's what you have here, guys. You have a team now that's going to likely have to play 4 quarters to win a game. No longer will you be able to drop a 20-point lead and then rest after that. But anyways, the game, I don't know if the game would have changed if Bradley Beal had stayed in the game, maybe a little. But I feel like the Lakers are on somewhat of a mission here. And what a way to start out. They were 0-6 the first 6 road games, and now they won 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing. I think Westbrook's still making some ill-advised mistakes. I'd say that's probably the only negative that I can feel from the game. I'm not so worried about it in these kind of games. I'm more worried about it if this team should make a run here, that Westbrook's going to have to reel that in, because those are devastating mistakes at the wrong time. And that's what kind of helped their run too a little bit, was his mistakes. Because you can blame Darvin Ham putting in Reeves and that and all that. No, I think a lot of it is those turnovers that turn into 3s and 2s, and that was the result in terms of them getting back into the game.
Well, just amazing performance today by Anthony Davis. Couldn't ask for anything more, as the Lakers now move to 10-12 with a 130-119 victory over the Washington Wizards. You know what? I know that the first thing I heard from John Ireland today was talking about how the Lakers are within 3 games of 4th place in the Western Conference. Last night, or the other night, when we were on with the Lakers Fast Break, Sean Grice also mentioned how close we are to the upper ranks of the Western Conference. And I don't want to go too far too fast. I'm just trying to get us into the playoff mix first, and then we'll go from there. So let's go ahead and talk.
But this team is special, Gerald. This team is special.
Yes, the special seems to be the key word between all of us here. But AD is playing really special right now. But also here today to talk about today's game. Good man indeed. You got to go ahead and check him out on YouTube. Right there for you. Can't avoid the channel name because it's right there, plastered all over us, right over there. It's John Mikaelian. John, great to have you here, my friend. If you like what we're doing, please give us that thumbs up and subscribe. Yep. Not only
hit the like button, y'all. Hit the like button.
Hit the like button, and also subscribe to not only our channel but John Mikaelian's as well. John, great game by AD. What a way to follow it up. I was worried about a letdown. You thought, early evening Sunday game, you're not sure if where's at. Looks like one of those trap games that you're not sure if the Lakers coming off the big high. Teams have a tendency to go ahead and play down to their competition or play down after a big emotional victory like that. That didn't happen today at all.
Yeah, I agree. It's funny you brought that up because I had the exact same thoughts coming into this game. I'm like, you know what? They got a big win in Milwaukee. Hopefully they don't play down to, Washington, who's not a terrible team, but they're not a great team either. So I'm not gonna lie, I got a little bit worried, in the 4th quarter.
Kuzma lighting it
up. Yeah, I'm like, oh snap, here we go. Here's Kuzma's revenge game. But I had a little bit of deja vu. I thought it was gonna end up, like Monday's game against Indiana, but thankfully, Darvin Ham put AD back in, and he just, continued where he left off. He had a monster game. I think his stat line was 55, 10, and 4, 10 rebounds, 4 blocks. So, and this is the AD we've been waiting for, since we won the championship. Obviously he hasn't been getting hurt, but at the same time, when he was out there, I think he was worried about deferring to LeBron and Westbrook because those are older, more experienced, pretty much guaranteed Hall of Famers. So he said, you know what, I don't want to piss them off. I don't want to upset them. So let me take a step back. And LeBron said, no, bro, this is your team. You got to take control. Now that he has that confidence, it shows because he's been playing like a number one out there for sure.
Absolutely. I just let you know today's game: 55 points, 17 rebounds, and 3 block shots. Just
Thank you.
incredible game. And then an by the way game for LeBron James: 29 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. But just a great game overall. Sean, you wanted to interject? Go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely, Gerald. And it's not only the efficiency of what he's doing, he's changed the way he's doing it. It's like an apex predator who, for whatever reason, has environmental or genetic factors somehow blocking the way they eat. And so they have to find a secondary way to get that meal. And he's just found a way because now I'm going to eat you in the low post. I'm going to eat you above the rim. And there's nothing that you can do to stop me because I'm so assertive now and
on the perimeter too, Sean. On the perimeter too.
Yeah, exactly, Joe. I mean, it was earlier in the season. I remember he had Zubats out on him. And I was thinking, Anthony, why don't you put the ball on the floor and take him to the hole? And he didn't do it. He took like a 20-footer. Now he'd take him to the hole and posterize him. It's a switch that's been flipped here. It's very wonderful to see, and I'm happy for him because now everybody who called him street clothes and all this stuff, they can wear the leash now, and he's going to walk you down the street.
Well, again, just an outstanding performance, Joe. When he's lighting it up like this, I know I just put in the chat everybody's thoughts right now as far as AD for MVP. Probably still wouldn't become MVP simply because of the fact that he's got a 10-12 record. But I think right now he's lighting it up even more than Tatum, even more than Curry, even more than Jokic. Right now, there's no one better in the NBA playing the game of basketball right now.
We discussed if the Lakers indeed stay healthy and play the way they've been playing, there's a very good chance they could finish the last 60 games 40-21 or 41-20. Right now we're at 60 games left, correct? It's 10-12. It's a possibility. Likely, we don't know yet. I would need another month or so to really garner that because I'm going to say that the Lakers desperately need to get 2 more players here in some capacity. And I'm not talking about some buyout has-been. I'm talking if they're going to get a buyout guy, I'm hoping it's somebody that still has some left in the tank and works with this particular team. But the Lakers need 2 more players. If this is indeed going to be the AD we're going to see, we're going to need 2 more players, preferably a big and someone who can shoot or 2 that can shoot. And let's see if this thing can go where it needs to go.
Petting my cat says Joe's backtracking from his 50-win statement on the last podcast. I'm not
backtracking.
Okay.
I'm not backtracking. I'm saying there. We said that. Look, I didn't think AD was going to drop 55 tonight, and
no one could have predicted that.
I didn't think he was going to drop 55 just as comfortable as he's been dropping 38. 55, guys. That's a lot of. That's a lot of points.
I want people to understand or try to how easy it was for him tonight. I was at the game last night with the Raptors and Magic, and OG Anunoby had to work his ass off to get 32 points. He was dripping sweat, tired, coming out, and Anthony looked like it was just a day at the park. Honestly,
it was a warm-up.
Yeah, it really was, John. Normally Anthony has like some sweat on him. He looked like he just basically toweled off from the shower or something. It was nothing. And to what the ease to which he's getting his points. He was 22 of 30 from the field. I don't care who you are. That is really hard in the NBA on any night to shoot over almost 75% from the field and get like Joe was saying, a double nickel. That is so hard to do. So hard.
He was so
easy.
efficient tonight. He was so efficient. It wasn't even scary anymore. Now you're talking about Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Freddy Cougar, and John in his underwear.
Did you say Freddy Krueger or Freddy Cougar?
Well, there were times where Kristaps Porzingis did not want to go up with two hands.
He got frustrated. It's that one little spark that he had where he was dunking, and like he turned into. Even Stu Lance was talking. He's like, dude, like play like that. This guy's killing you. And he had it for a spurt, right? And that's the difference, guys. The difference between the great ones and the spurts. You just got a little bit of a taste of what that is. Porzingis doesn't have the animal in him, right? Something that we've been talking about with AD not having, right? Does he have the animal in him to go after it? Now, we had seen it before. We had seen it for years in New Orleans, but he never really had any help there. We saw it during 2020 AD. Everyone keeps saying bubble. It's like, dude, he was showing it that whole year. It wasn't just in the bubble. It's just that you paid attention more in the bubble because that's when the playoffs started. But this is the best AD, the last 11 games, that's ever been the AD. If this continues and we get some reinforcements, Laker Tom's going to predict a 16-0 playoff record. Watch. That's a pretty weak comeback, John. I mean, that's something I would have said to you. Can you think of something original?
I was just piggyback of what you said.
But once again, it's the Lakers fast break. The Lakers did win 130 to 119. I like the fact
I actually don't, but if it makes you feel better.
I actually like the fact that the Lakers have put out 2 games in a row above 130 and above. That means the tempo's going, the pace is high, the transition is there. I know Laker Tom and I were going back and forth on it. To me, the tempo and the transition is a very important, Sean, to what the Lakers need to do in order to get easier shots. Not necessarily layups all the time, just to get themselves in a better set, because half court is there's still issues. ISOs, things of that nature. You can break that down all you want, but when the team goes up tempo, they're a lot better team.
100%, Gerald. 100%. We'd obviously like to see because we know that the 3-point shooting at some point is going to dip again. We'd like to see the half court defense and playing for 24 seconds. Become more consistent because that's where a lot of these opportunities are coming from. They definitely need to up the pace. No doubt about it. Once they get into the half court, Anthony seems to just be running towards the basket, and you've got 2 guys running off in the wings. But I understand what Tom was saying during the watch party that during this 8-2 streak that we're on, that we're 6th, I think, in 3-point percentage overall.
I mean, that's surprising, but I don't think that's going to stick.
I don't think that's sustainable personally. I agree, Gerald. I just don't think with the roster we have that somehow we go from being one of the worst to being 6th all of a sudden. I think there's not enough fluidity within the roster to suggest that that could work long term. They really do need to still evaluate making a move or two here to improve the shooting. Now, what I hope is that if you are looking at the Russ slant, that you take your time here, because this is an 8-2 run. It's 10 games is a small sample size, but that's basically 1/10 of the year. And so you've seen them we've seen the Lakers at their best. This is the way, if we're going to compete for a championship and hold that trophy at the end of the year, this is the way to get it done.
This is the way to get it done indeed. But once again, it's the Lakers Fast Break. John Mikaelian, MagicMan, and Joe Soro, along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thank you so much for watching, listening. The chat is going as we speak, both about the Lakers and also other things as well. John, I mean, this is awesome the way the Lakers are playing. This is totally a reverse of what we saw at the beginning of the season, which I know to you and I, who always think on maybe the harsher edge of the way the Lakers are playing, is really a surprise to, I think, you and I, and maybe Jamie as well, most of all. I think when it comes to the Lakers, if they can sustain this and they can actually go ahead and get involved and get interested and get in right in the middle of the mix in the playoff race by the time this road trip is over.
Yeah, while I was watching the game, I was actually trying to think of a player not named LeBron, AD, Westbrook, or Austin Reeves that was giving consistent production. And I couldn't think of one, to be honest. Pat Bev has been underwhelming, to say the least. I get it. He's not the 6'1" wing that Rob Pelinka hoped he would be. Shocker. Yeah, I agree with Sean. This team needs help, and if they're gonna go far for over the long haul, they need help. Right now, they're showing that they want to win, and they're winning. And not only are they talking the talk, but they're also walking the walk. And if this isn't a sign for Rob Pelinka to get the current roster some help, I don't know what is.
Exactly. They do need more. I mean, tonight you were able to get by off of AD's incredible game, LeBron's great supporting game at almost 30 points. And then, of course, you had Lonnie Walker hitting 4-4 from 3. But, Joe, when it comes to what we're seeing, this, to me, clearly shows that you're not going to always have nights like this where AD is going to drop 55. They need support from the rest of the team. And when they don't get it, like, nice tonight, you can't always rely on 2 or 3 players to go ahead and get the job done. It takes a team effort each and every time for most games outside of today.
Well, we're not talking 55 a night, but I think we keep saying the same thing for the last week. We can't expect this, we can't expect that. And all of a sudden AD has a career week.
Yeah.
Career almost 2 weeks. No, I expect AD to drop 25 to 30 a game now.
That I expect, but when it comes,
and the thing is, the reason his 25 and 30 are different than, let's say, a Kuzma 25 and 30. AD is not only scoring a lot and getting a lot of rebounds and having a lot of statistical achievements, it's the efficiency of that. And if you remember what we said about how sometimes 2 points aren't 2 points, sometimes the enormity of that particular 2 points or 3-point play can kind of deflate the opposing team's will. And AD was so dominant today, he pissed off Porzingis. Porzingis had more emotion today than I've ever seen him have. I've never seen him dunk and hang onto the rim like he was trying to break a tree branch. I'd never seen that before. And maybe if Porzingis had more of that, he would live up to his 4th overall pick. And that's the part where this right here starts to change for the Lakers opponents. And it happened in Milwaukee. Milwaukee just kept playing. And they're like, dude, these guys are not going away. Like, there's a reason why I said Michael Myers, Freddie Cougar, Jason Voorhees.
I keep thinking you say Freddie Cougar instead of Freddie Krueger. I don't know why. Maybe you're just,
Freddie who?
Freddie Krueger.
Yes, Krueger.
Yeah, it sounds like you say cougar. Like
Cougar?
Like you're hunting for a
you
cougar.
mean the ones that chase John around all day? No, I'm talking about Krueger.
Okay.
Krueger.
Just want to make sure. Okay.
Crew. Like,
Okay.
Crew.
Yeah, I know.
And then Gur.
Yeah. That's what okay. So I want to make sure.
Good. Don't interrupt me again.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyways.
And I was being totally facetious, by the way.
A lot of people don't know what facetious means. You know that, right? Didn't they teach you that in broadcasting school?
Our audience is intelligent. I will have you know. Ours is the most intelligent because they're here. They're
Well, I'm going to
listening,
start
and they're
calling you
liking what they-
Gerald Costas.
I am the dean of the Lakers Fast Break
Bob Costas.
University,
One
gentlemen.
time, I remember this because I was at the hotel I used to work. I used to work. Well, the hotel I worked at. I was a bellman driver, and it was the Denver Packers Super Bowl in San Diego, and Bob Costas used the word reticent in one of his spiels, and I looked at the guy next to him like, 99% of the people don't know what that means. Anyways, we have to kind of sort of come down to earth a little bit too here. It's still washed. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, Joe. What you're saying there, I'm reminded of what Woody Harrelson said in True Detective, where he said, I'm educated myself. I could throw around a lot of $10 and $20 words too.
I need to see that first season. I hear it's an epic one.
Yes.
I got through, I think, 30 minutes of it, and then I veered off somewhere. But I do got to get to that because I hear there's a lot of good dialogue between him and McConaughey.
Yes,
so I want to see that because I love both those guys. This is still okay. The Lakers are if the Lakers are playing like this, that means they're a very good team. They're supposed to beat the Washington Wizards by double digits at this point. If this is how they're going to play, they've shown that they can play a top 2 East team. Obviously, we saw that on Friday. So if this stays consistent, guys, I'm expecting wins, and I'm expecting wins against top-tier teams. Therefore, Rob Pelinka needs to figure out if he is going to do something to help this team become a title contender, because this team, as it's constructed, has a very good chance to make the playoffs at this point. But will they be title contenders? Not right now.
Yeah, let's not. That's why I'm trying to be a little bit cautious. I know everybody is really excited about what's going on. I want to put things in perspective. The Lakers are 10 and 12. They're still not even in the play-in running as of yet. They've got to go ahead and be consistent. Let's see how they do after this road trip. Let's see how they do come Christmas. Let's see where they're at the end of the year. If they're above 500 or even at 500, then to me it's a whole new ball game, John. It's a whole new ball game where we think that the Lakers can now start competing. And if they get a couple of added players into the mix, they can really make some noise.
Yeah, really good point there. And if I can add something to that, I would say that a lot of the reasons why we're winning right now is because LeBron, Westbrook, AD, and also Reams are pretty much carrying this team. The rest of the team not really, and that's why we really need help to beef up this roster going into the playoffs. So. I do see this team making the playoffs, but like Joe said, I don't really, see this team, this roster going far in the playoffs. So, we need all the help that we can get. I don't know if it's DeMar DeRozan, but we need at least one solid wing and at least one, at least semi-reliable shooter.
That's the thing, though. When it comes to him, he doesn't provide those. He's a scorer and a great scorer at that. But he doesn't play defense, and he's not an outside shooter that's going to stretch the defense at all. Sean?
Not at this point of his career, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. Gerald and John just both hit the nail on the head. He's a very prolific scorer, and that can be helpful.
And Vucevic is only hitting 34%.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not the same player since he got traded from Orlando.
What the Lakers need is what Gerald described. They need a shooter and a defender, preferably. You would take the shooting over the scoring if you have the added dimension of the defense. 100%, 100% of the time, and most teams would make that call too. Because another scorer, that's great, but what this team really needs is to aid Anthony Davis a little bit on the perimeter, so he's not working as hard when he's going east to west. We know what he can do north to south with his verticality and athleticism, but in order to take the next level and take the next step, the team really needs to improve defensively on the perimeter and that like Gerald was saying, that requires acquiring a player that has a dimension that is both a shooter and a defender.
Now, if you want somebody that can be a stretch five, we played one tonight. He's, Porzingis is scoring better than he has almost at any point in time in his career, even in his All-Star season, hitting 36%. He may not be the total answer for you, but I would take him over what we saw right now from Vucevic. I think Vucevic is really right now, his confidence wise, it's just not there right now.
Yeah, no. Look, Vooch is a very good player.
He was a very good player.
Was a very good player. He's a good to above average right now. Gerald's correct. Yeah, the problem with Vooch is he, like Gerald said, it's a confidence issue, and he could drop 25 a night, but he's also going to give up 25 to 31 on the defensive end. But Gerald again is 100% correct. You take Porzingis over Vucevic if that's the choice to be made.
I know Miles Turner is probably the best option right now, but if you're, whatever's going on with the Lakers in Indiana, obviously they've talked numerous times. Nothing's come out of it, Joe, and it just seems like that's been going around and around forever. At this point, it either gets done or it doesn't. It just move on from it and move on to other things. But the Lakers, obviously, like you said, if they can just get moving on some trades here, obviously we have to wait until the 15th for December when more players become eligible. Then in January 15th, when even more players become eligible. It seems like it's a good thing that the Lakers are winning all these games, but it also seems like it's just giving Rob an excuse to just delay even further.
Getting someone like Porzingis with this team would be a pretty big game changer.
As long as he's healthy, and he's staying healthy.
Correct. As long as he's healthy, but that's always been the issue.
Yeah.
And then, of course, he's making, I think, $30 million a year, and then he's got a player option next year.
Yeah, but then if you trade Russ, then you could maybe pick up someone else. Maybe even bring Kuzma back as far as.
I am in a real quandary with Westbrook at the moment. I think he is great off the bench. He is giving that bench a spark. His passing is phenomenal. His rebounding is amazing. Mm-hmm. There is that like 5-6 minute stretch in each game though where he's making really bad decisions.
And we keep on stressing that having him during the game is great. Having him at the end of the games is not so great.
Yeah, it's a problem, and it's going to be a problem when you play the higher echelon teams that can bait him. We don't want to have that be an issue, so we're going to have to be very careful to see how that kind of turns out. You trade Westbrook for someone, let's say at this point, that is a surefire third guy. Like I'm talking, you get him, it's like, yep, this is the guy that you want playing with these guys. Otherwise, you got to use the other assets to try and get someone. I don't think we have enough money to send out for, let's say, a Porzingis, even though he'd be perfect playing center next to AD. Geez, if you think Miles Turner's good, I think Porzingis would be even better, especially on the offensive end. And this is an offensive league, guys. As much as defense is important, I think we have enough defense, especially with AD as the anchor. Offense is really, I think, where we're going to want to concentrate on getting to improve the team so that the shooting's there, take advantage of LeBron's offense, and of course, drawing people away from AD because of the threat of scoring.
I think, Joe, I think you're onto something there. I think if they acquire a shooter or two, I think that's a good recipe. You know what you're going to get from AD, and you know what you're going to get from LeBron at this point. So if a third guy ends up scoring 25 or 30 points, that's just gravy.
And that's the thing. I think Blue Magic hit it best. Now, hear this guy. I don't know if you guys saw it in the chat, but Blue Magic pointed right there. Yes, he's playing well off the bench. Zangerstein did a great job of describing it. Yes. But is he playing at a $47 million well?
No one can.
No one can except AD
not
and LeBron in his prime. And
not coming off the bench.
Giannis, those are the special players. The special players that can play up to 47 million. But we can't hold that over his head because that's not.
No, but
that's not on him.
He made a good point by saying that he's playing
it's a
well,
fair point.
Well, there's gonna need to be some.
Is he playing up to his monetary?
There's gonna need to be some talks with Russell. Hopefully, Darvin Ham can do this, where he needs to really. It's okay if he does it, I guess, against the Wizards.
Roger that, I mean, on top of it, can you have a $47 million role player, which is what he is right now? He's playing great as a role player. He's playing great as a guy off the bench. He's playing great in those second and third quarters. He's playing great against those second team units. Is he playing at that level? That's the question that you guys got to ask yourself, because again, how much money he takes off your cap.
Oh, the cap part is already over. I don't think we need to worry about that at the moment.
I think trading him, could bring you those bonus that you're talking about.
I understand that in 2022, the narrative matters more than the fact. But the fact is that this team is playing excellent basketball right now, and I don't think just making a willy-nilly trade.
No, but you.
Hold on. Okay. I think I would buy Pelinka's reasoning if he says, "I want to wait until the end of December."
Well, you have to wait until the middle of December in the first place.
Well, you have to anyway, but I think at this point, with the way they've been playing, I think you have to wait well into Christmas and probably till the end of the year to really figure out what you want to accomplish.
But John and Joe have said it at best, filling out the end of that roster, because you see tonight.
I understand that.
It was basically the team was 3 players tonight.
Yes, I understand that.
What lackey keeps putting up these? I'm sorry, Sean, I got to say this.
No, go ahead, Joe.
What lackey keeps putting up these artificial dates? I want to find out who that is.
Well,
what do you mean wait till end of December? For who? For what? What are we waiting for?
Exactly. That's
Sean a lackey.
Yeah, that's
no. You're no. That's not what I'm saying.
But that's my whole point. That's kind of my whole point. Is what
was it? Zach Lowe? I think I read it was Zach Lowe, wasn't it, or somebody like that, or was that?
Zangerstein brings up a great point.
Talking to DeRozan or something. I don't know who that was.
Yeah, but DeRozan again, does he stretch the defense and does he play defense? The answer is no. Great scorer, but you already have great scorers on your team. The thing is, you need to stretch the defense, and he doesn't do that. Neither does Vucevic, shooting 34%. Zangerstein said right now it's better to trade Nunn, Pat Bev, and Schroeder into either a stretch big or a wing.
See, I think that's better.
But the problem is, how much do you have to add on top of it? Because the other team is not going to take all these players who are not playing well this season. None of those guys are playing well this season. Absolutely none of those guys are playing. They're all playing horribly. Why would you want them for the money, for the contract reasons? Yes. But they're going to ask for at least one, if not both of those number 1 draft picks. So we get right back into the situation with Indiana. At least Russell is playing well, and you can at least promote that fact. But with the other guys that are playing so poorly, you try to package them, and you're gonna. These other teams are going to ask for a lot more. Now it comes right back to a situation where the Lakers might have to bundle both of those picks once again with those guys. Go ahead, John.
Can I say?
Of course, I had to get that off my chest because Zangerstein was putting that in there, and I know it's easy to dump and unload all these bad players that were playing so bad for the Lakers, but these teams.
It's all good.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say that YouTube shows, like us, whether it's us, Lakers Nation, or whatever Lakers YouTube channels out there, we can discuss all day long whether Westbrook is living up to his contract or not, whether we should trade him or not. But the all honesty, the one that really makes the decision or tips the decision, whatever, is what can we get for Westbrook? Because if other teams want our picks and other stuff, and they're not willing to offer much, then our argument, our debate doesn't mean anything. So
Yeah.
it's all about what market's out there for him.
Yeah, but then same thing goes for if you tried to package Nunn and Beverly and
Neither of those guys have a
Schroeder.
market value right now.
Yeah, they're not because they're playing awful.
They're just contracts.
Yeah,
They
they're just
both
contracts.
have the same reasoning on why someone would trade for him, though. It's just that Westbrook has more money.
Yeah,
that is,
exactly.
If someone wants to get rid of a ballooned contract beyond 2023, and that's the only way Rob is going to get what he wants. He's going to have to get lucky. He's going to have to get lucky again. He's not capable of finagling something because, number one, almost all the GMs in the NBA can't stand him. Number two, Laker fans can't stand him. Number three, Laker fans can't stand him. And what can he do? Everyone's going to want to fleece him and fleece
but the right
Lakers.
person stands him, and that is Jeannie Buss. So somebody stands.
Well, I don't
She's
know
not
how
that much better.
Yeah, she's the mirror version of who he is. Weak. They're weak at their positions. The golden armor is what makes the Lakers the Lakers. They're waiting to get lucky, guys. They're waiting for the right luck. And if luck doesn't happen, guess what? Nothing happens because they're not capable of creating anything. Which is the only thing that's scary about this, because I feel like you're now not only going to waste another year of LeBron, you might waste an epic season by AD. But hey, you know what? We're looking good right now. We'll try to stay positive and see where this goes.
We'll see where it goes, indeed. But once again, it's the Lakers fast break. Lakers with a dominant performance from AD, 55 points, 17 rebounds, 3 block shots. Just a great performance by him. The Lakers end up pulling away. You get close, 130 to 119.
There's an old saying. I'm a country boy. I'm from the country, so there's an old saying: no matter how far a highway goes, an old dirt road will take you home. And it's just proving over
What if
and
I want
over.
to take the freeway?
It's just the Gerald, it used to be that the new wave of the NBA was take 53s a game, get to the line 25 to 30 times. And watching Darvin Ham and AD go old school and decide, yeah, we're just gonna destroy you from the inside out. That's how we're gonna do it. It's cool to see the advent of the old school sort of back with the Lakers. That's something that's nostalgic for me. I loved watching basketball, and I'm a 90s kid, so I watched probably 5 of the greatest 10 centers weekly, and to see what Anthony's doing and to evolve his game from the perimeter in. I mean, if Hakeem Olajuwon had saw his performance tonight, he'd probably jumping up and down saying, yeah,
he's
that's
not
the way
dead.
that's the way to do
He
it.
might
Exactly.
have seen the tonight's performance.
He's still alive, Sean.
He's still alive. You probably
Yeah.
got
Oh, I'm
cable
sorry.
TV.
Did I say was? I didn't say.
Well, you're
was
speaking to him
dead.
in past tense.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so bad. My mistake. Oh
He's
my
probably
goodness.
he probably made enough money. He's got
Yeah, I'm
satellite
just-
TV.
Okay,
He's probably
gonna
good.
throw some
Do you think he
salt
can
over
afford
my right
Spectrum?
shoulder at the
They raised
I
their rates recently.
apologize to Hakeem Olajuwon.
Nobody can afford a Spectrum. Absolutely nobody can afford Spectrum. But there you go. Actually, outside of Joe. But once again, it's the Lakers fast break.
What do you mean you can't afford Spectrum? Don't they have those $80 a month deals? You guys can't pay $80 a month?
Well, that's why I have Cox.
You know what's funny about that whole subscription thing? Is you have these dolts who are like, hey, we cut the cord. We cut the satellite, we're saving a bunch of money. Then they have like 80 subscriptions to Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, Netflix Plus, Gerald Plus, John Plus, and then they're like $100 anyways. You might as well just stick with the TV.
I heard John Plus is pretty good.
John Plus.
I'm not going to.
Sorry, I meant John Negative.
Doesn't exist. Sorry.
One of the things I want to ask before we go is that can this team sustain it? Can this, because the next game is against, it's not an easy one. It's one of Sean's favorite teams. Actually, it's a very good team, and I'm not going to disparage them. Again, a team that has 4 great starters on that team when they go Tuesday into LeBron's old stomping grounds in Cleveland. And then after that, right after that, another good team in Toronto. So it's a back-to-back. I'm going to start with you, Sean. I mean, what are you looking forward to when you go ahead in these games? I mean, can they make this at least? I'm looking for a split. I'm going to be reasonable. If this is where there's going to be like a falter because it's back to back, you might not play LeBron back to back. You might not play AD back to back. When it comes to it, are you going to go ahead and try to do what you can to sustain it? What do you need to do to sustain the kind of good performances you've had so far in the past 2 games?
Yeah, you know something, Gerald? I think if you're a fan of defensive basketball, that Cleveland game is going to be one to circle with a red Sharpie. Um, if AD goes off again, it's going to be because he's just on another level, and there's just nothing Evan Mobley, Jared Allen can do about it. I think that's going to be a tall order for him to get a double nickel against that defense. Obviously, we're not going to predict it or anticipate it. They're a feisty bunch. They get after you. You're right. They've got 4 really good starters. Don't have much of a bench to speak of. That's going to need to be addressed by them if they want to make any noise. But I digress. I'm with you, man. I think there's a split here. I tend to think that the Lakers will win the back end against the Raps and come up a little short against the Cavs. That's just what I'm thinking right now. It could be flipped, but Cleveland plays a brand of defense that is very, very similar to the Bucks, and I think the Lakers really need to bring their hard hat and lunch buckets because that's the way they play. They play for 48 minutes.
John, I'm just going to say somebody needs to get involved because Ticketmaster is a monopoly. That's some bad
Yes.
stuff right there. That's happened. That's been going on for decades. They've been doing this stuff. Yeah, but
Horrible.
need I digress on that? We don't want to keep
No.
it light and bright here, right here at the Lakers Fast Break. No Ticketmaster comments right now because it just really just gets me started. Because anybody trying to go ahead and get a ticket for a live event or a concert, that's just the prices are just going outrageous, and a lot of it is because of Ticketmaster. But I will say now, though, for the Lakers, though, man, just keeping on the road, keeping this momentum. John, you have a team now that is really riding high, back up to 10 and 12, now in the conversation. When you go to all these shows, you go to all these podcasts that are not named the Lakers Fast Break, they're all going to, go rave about AD, all the Lakers, watch out for the Lakers. All these other shows that were banning the Lakers from conversation. And you guys all know, and gals all know about that because you heard all these other national shows says, oh, we don't want to talk about the Lakers. We don't want to talk about the Lakers because they're where they're at. Oh, well, all of a sudden this week, you're going to start hearing them talk about the Lakers again. What can we do, or what do the Lakers need to do to keep this conversation flowing?
They just got to keep playing like they're playing now and not let their guards up. I think if they get too comfortable and let their guards down and lose to so obviously not going to win every game, but if they keep losing to teams like they shouldn't against like on Monday against Indiana, where they're up 15, like if they lost tonight, we would have had a totally different conversation. We would have been asking, whether or not should we make a trade to help this team, but they just got to be consistent and win more games because the West is very competitive. There's a lot of good teams, even though records are very similar right now. It's still early in the season, but as the season goes on and chemistry and players start getting used to playing with each other and start warming up, that's when records are really going to start matter. So they just got to keep winning more games.
Absolutely. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Joe, I mean, you're the man who got on the side of Laker Tom. Laker Tom was predicting a 5-1 road trip. You were 4-2, very positive. How can they go ahead and keep going? Because again, a very tough back-to-back starts on Tuesday.
What kind of conversation a professional show starts a show with? We're not going to talk about this team.
That's I can tell you right now. They're located. Their digits are ESPN, and it's called the Hoop Collective. They actually
and I got another 4-letter word for them.
Windhorse made an effort so far most of the season.
Does it start with F and end with K?
Yeah, but also it's
more
several
like
other
C and T.
athletic shows.
Okay.
There's a whole bunch of shows out there because the Lakers were bad in the earlier part of the season. They made an effort to.
What was Wendy saying? Did LeBron blacklist him from the locker room? That's why he's doing this?
Well, because the edict is that the Lakers have to be talked about 100% of the time on these other shows when they're doing well.
Okay.
But when they're not doing well, they want to make sure that they cover everyone else and forget the Lakers.
For those who don't understand marketing or common sense, you know why Skip Bayless is famous?
Because he's constantly gone after LeBron since
that is probably his number one. Because he
always goes against the grain, that's why.
Because he mentions LeBron in a negative light, you get the deadheads who LeBron, why do you hate LeBron? And the other guys too, the ones that agree with him. You see how that works? And he even there was even talk that he knows that when he puts something on Twitter, he follows how the activity goes, and then he'll roll with it. Okay, guys, for those of you who are out there listening, if you're going to learn anything about the world, everything's a scam to get your attention. Everything. And the best way to not be scammed is don't get scammed. Don't watch ESPN. Don't listen to Stephen A. Smith. Don't watch Fox with that marbles talking Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless. Okay, it's
Nick Wright.
That's what keeps them going. If you don't watch these guys and listen to them, you're gonna not have them on TV, and that's as simple as that, guys. But unfortunately, people are moths to the flame. So the Lakers are relevant because they're the Lakers. Doesn't matter if they're losing or winning. Even when the Lakers were losing, the talk was, are they going to get a top 5 pick? Are they going to get a 1 pick, a 2nd pick? They're the Lakers. They've already put that peanut butter on the bread. It's over, guys. It's there. Can't get it off the bread anymore. So now that they're winning, what's great about the fact that they're winning from an objective standpoint is you have a 29-year-old phenom who we've never really seen this kind of talent before, except for maybe a handful of times. I mean, let's be honest, guys. This is not.
Well,
this isn't
in fairness to what Gerald was saying, in order just to kind of spark a positive conversation out of this, what
They're all
it's
positive.
going.
Lakers won. It cannot help but being positive. Man.
The voice went up. That's how you know Gerald's.
No. I was talking about your ESPN slant there. It's going to enable,
voice, Sean.
Yeah, it's going to enable actual NBA
Pop culture cosmos
to talk positively about the Lakers.
Inside Sports Fantasy Football and Game Source.
Sorry, we keep interrupting Sean.
5-star review.
Let Sean talk, for God's sakes.
Wherever you get your podcast.
Yeah, so on what the flip side to what Joe said, and by the way, what I agree with a lot of what he said, and a lot of what he said is true. You're going to have it's going to enable actual NBA analysis who know their stuff and do their job well. For example, Tim Legler, to get on ESPN and to basically fawn over Anthony Davis and drool over LeBron and marvel at what they're doing with the last 10 games. Kirk Goldsberry is not going to be able to tweet out that the Lakers can't find any shooting outside of AD and LeBron. So he's going to have to talk positively about them. It just means that, unfortunately, in today's Joe's on with marketing. I'm not a businessman. The three gentlemen I'm joined by are. I'm not by trade. But what Joe was saying about marketing was true. But I was just going to say from just a layman's perspective, just I think most people just understand now that for some reason, whatever the du jour topic is that the narrative matters more than the fact. And if when the fact becomes too great, then you drop the narrative and move on to something else. So I think it's kind of one hand washing the other, Gerald, in the sense that it's going to force ESPN and these networks to talk positively about the Lakers. But at the same time, like you were saying, somebody like Brian Windhorst faces a conundrum now because he said he wasn't going to talk about them when they were in the doldrums. So now you're not going to talk about them when they're playing like one of the 5 best teams in the NBA.
He had to do an episode on Monday, and it sounded like somebody actually had to, drag him
Force
into
him.
doing it.
It's
yeah.
a petulant child response, and we have a lot of petulant children.
And it's not just him; it's also other.
It's society
like
in general.
and
It's society in
Mostly
general.
him.
It's society in general. It's hilarious when you watch someone acting like a petulant child degrade another petulant child. They don't even realize they're doing the same thing. How about we do this? How about we comment? This is the great thing about sports, especially when it comes to the NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, because there's a game every day or every other day. Talk about what happened. Okay. Now, if there's a week where a team stinks, then you can kind of bunch in what happened that week. But if they're also winning that week, then you can bunch in that as well. You want to keep it fluid. You want to tell the audience what's happening. That's the whole point of being a good broadcaster. Tell us what's happening. We don't want to hear about your feelings on how you don't want to talk about something because you don't feel like it. It has nothing to do with you. When you're doing this kind of job, it matters what the audience wants to hear. Okay? Absolutely. It matters what the audience wants to hear. The audience wants to hear Laker talk or Yankee talk or Cowboy talk. Guess what? You form your show on that. Now, we're in a different situation than, let's say, the All World Sports Channel or whatever. We're a Laker talk show. So it might be a little easier for us to – matter of fact, it's harder for us because we're stuck on one subject. So if the Lakers stink for what they did for, 3 months last year and in the first month here, we were kind of stuck. Like, you got to really – you got to really have some talent.
It was like a season-long thing.
Yeah, you got to really have you got to really have talent to keep your audience engaged. Otherwise, I felt like after a while, I'm just like, Lakers suck. What else? What else can we talk about?
Somebody, did you propose to me? Renaming our show "Lakers Suck Break"?
There's some weird things you hear.
Lakers season-long break.
I'm kidding.
Are you sure you don't need a new headset?
No, this one's been working fine.
I'll buy you one if it helps.
No, it's okay. This one's
sure?
all good, my friend.
I'm sure I can afford one.
I will say,
I know you guys don't want to spend that $80 a month on DirecTV, because it might break your bank.
Okay. No, that's just who's that? No, actually, I'm sorry.
How do you guys watch TV when you don't have that? Like, do you actually have to go?
That's almost $1,000 a year.
I watch my share of TV.
I want to go watch the Laker game. What the hell?
I watch my share of TV.
Is that how you watch your games, Joe?
I think
I cover pop culture.
You know how I turn on the game?
Like
this.
TV.
That's how a remote works, Joe.
It's beautiful. There's a button I even put on my little Harmony. It has the Time Warner favorite. I don't even need to turn
a button, Joe.
I don't even need to do the on and off button. I just go to the Time Warner button. That's how I roll.
Special.
That's how I roll.
That's very special indeed.
You know what I mean? Well, that's how I roll. You guys are jealous? Are you jealous? What, John? Are you jealous? I'm looking right at you.
No, you're not.
if it hasn't dawned on,
I can arrange it here on the. There you go. Now you're looking. Now you can look right at him right here.
I got
Yeah,
something better remote, Joe. I got a phone.
Okay.
Before
Now you can look right at him. There you go. Go
before
ahead.
before
I got to look
you,
this way. Look at Joe.
You're like,
yeah, but before you lead us out the door here, Gerald, I just wanted to leave the Lakers fast break with one final thought, and I'm not Jerry Springer.
Thank God.
Or Jerry.
Watch out for the chair.
It's not just the fact that it's a roster talent issue, and it's not the fact that right now you might be in the depths of wasting another LeBron year and maybe a one of a kind Anthony Davis type year. It's the fact that for 22 games right now, they've forged an identity, and one of the characteristics of their identity is they fight. They fight. This isn't like last year's team where if they were down by 15 to 20 points in the middle of the second quarter, a lot of them would just phone it in, try and get their stats up and head out the door. These guys fight for one another and they fight for their coach. If Pelinka can't see that and understand that by bringing guys in, like John said it the other day, that kind of level of play, that intensity, that hustle, it's contagious. So if you bring guys into the mix who already have that DNA, it just seems to me you could be watching a rocket take off. But you might just want to just let this just sit in the atmosphere and not take it off. Like that makes no sense to me. I think if anything, this 8-2 run has proven to Pelinka that he needs to make a trade.
I agree with you. It proves right now that the Lakers, if they add just a couple of ingredients, I really think it's going to make them a team that can be competitive right now at the higher end of the Western Conference, even much more than any one of our expectations, because we did not have the greatest expectations going in because of the fact that the supporting cast was on paper looking so bad. Mm-hmm. John, I mean, any last thoughts on the team before we head on out?
Go Lakers.
That's very in depth, my friend. Awesome. Truly appreciate that.
That's all we need to. That's all we need at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Continuing to go ahead.
Go where?
What?
Go where? We mean go Lakers.
When Laker Tom says it, you don't say go where.
Tom's 76. What am I going to do? Yell at a 76-year-old man?
He's 79.
I wouldn't put it past him. He's 76.
What's so funny?
Well,
everything.
Yeah. But once again, it's the Lakers.
Serious.
Once again, it's the Lakers.
On this note,
yes, truly appreciate everyone out there watching, listening. A great crowd tonight. It's just really, really strong numbers. Thanks so much for watching us. Truly appreciate it. If you get a chance, please go ahead and check out what we're doing at John Mikaelian, right there for you on his YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe today. Like both our videos and his videos. Big thumbs up for each of us. And also subscribe. Please go ahead and subscribe so you can get the latest notifications on not only when he goes live on the air, but when we go live on the air with our great shows. Joe, before we head on out, what's your schedule like this week? Because the Lakers, obviously on Tuesday, we're going to be going ahead with our live watch party coming up. That's going to be, I think, at 4:30 our time in the West Coast. Then after that, of course, the post game. Toronto the next night, 4:30 the next night post game. Are you up for an NBA observations tomorrow, or do you want to wait until Thursday on that one?
I gotta be honest, G. I am getting busier by the week, and
you said you're doing well.
Business the opening year will be even busier.
Okay,
it's easy for me to do post stuff, but during the games, I need a little more fluidity. I love being on playback. I just don't know how I can manage 5 to 6 hours in a row doing commentary. But I have to play each day by ear.
Okay, because I wanted to discuss the MVP conversation.
I'll tell you what. I probably should be good to do observation tomorrow evening.
Okay. John, hopefully you guys can join us as well. We can schedule out something tomorrow evening to discuss the MVP rankings as far as where do you rank, who, where, and why, because I think that's something we should approach starting right now because it's or quarter of the way in the season. Sounds like something maybe you guys could do?
Go ahead,
Sean, you're
Sean.
on mute. You're on mute, Sean.
Yeah, I'll double check, Joe, but I should be free.
Okay, fair enough. John, at least in the
I'm not
chat.
free though. You're gonna have to pay me.
Okay, well there you go.
We'll
John,
pay you with one chip challenges.
there you go. Well, he said it wasn't very much for him. He said he handled it like no
Weak.
problem.
That was weak.
Okay. Then you got the wings challenge maybe coming up as well.
That one will be hot. Because you
All
can't
right.
drink anything.
You know what, Z, you're truly incredible. Still downloading our podcast versions aside from hitting the like buttons. Everyone in their chat, the world's best Lakers chat. I truly appreciate it.
John and Joe are slowly turning into the Statler and what was the other guy's name?
Well, they're the odd couple.
Yeah.
They're the odd
Statler
couple of the
and
Lakers
Waldorf, the two puppets up in the mezzanine who just make fun of everybody, including themselves.
Yep, those guys had all the fun. Yes, they did indeed. But once again, it's the Lakers fast break. Also, you guys gotta let me know when we want to do the next Lakers History 101 on the Kobe Vlade trade. That's something I definitely want to talk about because I know that was brought up by one of our great people that's insiders, Nick Medina. He wanted to go ahead and have us talk about that. So we will talk about that on the next Lakers History 101 when we can go ahead and schedule that.
That's funny, petting my cat. So
Yep.
petting my cat says if the Lakers win 50, I sell my business.
No, I don't think so. No, I don't.
Which business?
Yes.
Your
I
OnlyFans
got a
account.
few.
Where's the tears that John says sovereign? So there you go. Okay.
Now let's talk. Now Richard brought up politics ? Let's talk politics.
No, let's not talk politics. This is not.
We have to give the audience what they want. Ask
No,
for politics.
let's not talk podcast. Z, you know what? You did come for listening from the podcast, so keeping at it. I truly appreciate all your support. You're one of our biggest supporters. Everyone
All
out
of
there in
them.
the chat room, all of it. Just truly appreciate all the support everyone in the chat room, everyone out there listening and watching gives us. And Joe mocks my hand movements, but once again, it's the Lakers.
Are you sure you're not half Italian?
No,
Always talking with your hands.
no. I'd like to be, but then if I was, I'd probably be a lot even heavier. But I don't want to do that. No, 'cause it's the Lakers fast break.
Way to
If you
close
have
out
any
the show.
If you have any questions for us, I'm trying to, but Joe, look what he's doing. At Lakers Fast Break on Twitter, LakersFastBreak@yahoo.com. Plus, also as well, you can leave comments. We do get back to them on YouTube, and of course, Lakerholics.com, LakersBall.com, and of course, for Joe, Simblades with a Y.com. John Mikaelian's YouTube channel. Are you going on live tonight?
Not tonight, but maybe tomorrow.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Shucks.
Well, hopefully you can at least enter your thoughts on the MVP race as well tomorrow night when we do NBA observations. Looking for a good conversation then. But once again, the Lakers do end up really with a comfortable victory, 130 to 119. And we'll be back definitely as far as from the standpoint of a live watch party on Tuesday starting at 4:30. And then after that, of course, it's all of us right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Have a great evening, everyone. Appreciate it. Have a good week. Joe, what are you doing?